Aeronautical engineering. Then one day, 6 a.m. in the morning, he wakes up, he goes to the office, he tells the MD at that point and tells him, sir, imagine my tired is tired. My shift, my deal, my game is done. He's recently married. He's 29 years old. He's got a wife who's 5 years younger than him. She's working at the Karen Blixen. They've got themselves a young daughter.
Yeah.
He's earning 12,000 bob. An aeronautical engineer with a master's. It is the early 80s. His uncle, who was part of the Kapenguria 6. Yani, this was a man who, Yani, the boss. Oneko.
Mm-hmm.
Tells him, young man, imagine focus. This guy is just blinking at his uncle. Imagine, I know what I'm doing. You see, everyone has been a Gen Z. And then Muse, the old man, who is working for Kenny Rogers at the time, after hearing this news, you mean engineer has quit his job because he has been called by the CEO. At that time, the MD.
Yes.
Wanjo Nyaga. Muse anatoka South Nyanza. Now, if you have not been, hey, that's why we call it Loka.
Yes. Another word. across the lake.
It's across the lake. South Nyanza ni mbali.
Homa Bay.
Hey, ametoka Homa Bay, amekuja Nairobi to convince the boy. What are you doing? 3 weeks later, no, the boy doesn't give. 3 weeks later, the boy lands a job with Singer sewing machines.
Yeah.
And guess what? Now he's grossing 86,000 shillings. Ching, ching. He's got himself an American Express card. Have you seen one? And he's got his car, and he's got Plaza Motor Vehicles.
Yeah. Those are part of the perks.
That journey has now led to the man. He now got into sales.
Absolutely.
And that journey is still continuing. Paka today, it's taken him through EABL, Zain, Telcom Kenya. And now, Yani, this is a gentleman who's multilingual. Okay? And he's now a global commercial director for Burn Manufacturing LLC. By the way, is this the jikos that we do now?
Absolutely.
Is it just for domestic, but there's commercial purposes as well? Somebody's listening to you and they're like, imagine that can, I've got something, not only for the barbecue, yeah, but they want to do an eco lodge, something like that.
Yeah, we have domestic stoves, and lately last year, could we call it a bit by accident, we got into this corporate stoves.
How did that?
You remember we had some floods in Nairobi last year?
Oh, yes, of course, yes.
And therefore, we had to quickly think of how we could help the communities that were displaced.
Right.
Lots of food had to be made in different locations within Nairobi and across the country.
Right.
And guys were camping either in schools or something. And some of this work had been in NPD, New Product Development, within Burn.
Right.
So when we were called upon, if we could assist, make some few stoves to help the unfortunate people, we quickly stepped in, as we normally do, and we came up with these stoves. And so, yeah, we have got stoves right now for schools and institutions that would need them.
What is the difference, Collins? Is it... Obviously, stoves are different because maybe somebody's thinking those old, those traditional Jokali stoves that are made by these guys here at Machakos, Zile za chuma mabati, whatever. Yeah. Is it the stove or is it what's the charcoal that's different?
So
that makes it eco-free.
Let's break it down,
please.
You'd all relate again. Our listeners would relate to a 3-stone stove.
Yes.
Which is 3 stones, and then you got to push.
Are you good at painting pictures? I know you are. Paint it.
I would paint it.
Yeah.
3 stones, then you can push the wood or the through the fire. Then you go to blow, and then it lights up.
Yes.
Then you put your sufuria on top of the 3 stones.
Very nice.
Now just look at that. It's wasteful. Because air blows from all the sides, in between the stones, from the top, from the bottom, across. And you basically combust that piece of wood or that twig much faster than you ideally should. Fast forward, guys made improved cook stoves. Now, these are the ones you see at Machakos.
So he's basically he's taking you through the evolutionary process.
Yeah.
This stove is the one that we used to see in Dala, in the Jikon.
That's it.
Yani, they have dug a hole somewhere.
Yes.
That's what we're talking.
That's it.
Very good.
Some homes,
Yes.
unfortunately,
Yes.
still have some of those
Yes.
traditional stoves. Then, of course, came the period when we got to make the ICS, what we call the improved cook stoves. Now, this is the like that's being made at
Machakos, yes.
Quite definitely, the combustion chamber is covered. You can close, open it, and therefore it conserves and reduces the rate at which the burning happens.
Sharp.
Where the fuel is being converted into, that energy.
Yes.
Now, at Burn, we've perfected the art. May I say, we are the only vertically integrated Jiko manufacturing company in the world.
What does that mean?
Vertically integrated means we import steel and pass it through that process, manufacturing process, to the level here in Ruiru, where you get a finished stove of the highest quality compared to any world standard.
Good one.
With highest efficiency.
Sharp.
Meaning burning the least amount of fuel to do the job that you wanted done. So we pride ourselves as being the only vertical integrated company in. And all these things happen here in Ruiru.
Right.
We laser cut the steel.
Right.
All this is programmed, and it works to the precision of less than a millimeter.
Wow. So what does it burn? Briquettes ama kawaida charcoal?
Burns normal charcoal. We don't use briquettes, just normal charcoal.
Good one.
Normal wood. Twigs, actually. We encourage people to use twigs, not even branches.
Wacha.
Don't cut logs. Use twigs.
So you mean, hold on. So like I tell the Shama boy, you're the nanis that fall from the trees, the leaves, so obviously they're the twigs.
Yes, the twigs.
Atoe hizo?
Yeah.
Alafu,
Give me three. Three of them.
Are you serious?
I'll put into a wood stove.
Yes.
And I'll be able to cook a meal for the family and probably just close the chamber so that I don't withdraw that and just make sure I don't burn all the wood. It's absolutely economical.
How long have you been around?
Burn has been around for 12 years now.
Oh, good one.
Yeah. And most likely, you might have to take an interest into what is in your kitchen.
No.
You're not the right profile. But there, in each and every Kenyan home, I think there should be a form of jikokoa or
yes, indeed, yes.
Or
No, I'm actually wanting to get one. How do you? How does one look it up right now?
Burn is www.burnstoves.com. I shall repeat.
Thank you.
www.
Most. As in be slow.
www.burnstoves, that is BURNSTOVS, burnstoves.com. Okay. That's our site.
You know, every time I have a guest like you, what my enemy is time.
Wow.
Because we have fast forwarded to now. By the way, you can get those stoves online, or is there a shop somewhere?
Absolutely. We launched our e-commerce site, www.ecoa.com. That site should be having our e-commerce, and you can be able to buy from our platform.
Okay.
That's already been launched.
Is there a brick and mortar shop somewhere?
We work through distributors, through our B2B channel.
I see.
So we have distributors spread across, even in Burma, in Siaya, Homa Bay coast, and anyone interested being a distributor is absolutely free to call upon us.
You're in all countries in Africa?
Primarily, right now, we are in 6 countries in Africa. That's Kenya, Tanzania, Mozambique, DRC and Nigeria. Soon we have just opened Malawi. Next month we are moving to Madagascar, and sooner or later we should be in Zambia.
Collins Oneko, now you started off, yeah. Let's remember this is engineer Collins Oneko. He's a master, a aeronautical engineer. But aside from your time at Zain and Telcom Kenya, your journey then begins at Singer, to be honest.
Correct.
In terms of you took to it like a fish to water. Like you said, you find that engineers are very good at when it comes to marketing and sales because they really break down a product.
Absolutely.
So the best know how to sell the damn thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I like that because that's very true.
Yeah.
That said, you are now global commercial director. What has been the pinnacle of your career thus far? And the downside was that one of, there we are, you got your restless feet syndrome at Kenya Airways. But then you are young. Then life has, you've had various experiences, Baba. Is this the pinnacle? Because you see, the sky is the limit.
Yeah.
But the thing about obviously you enjoy your job.
Absolutely.
But some say you can only tell your highlight when the sun is setting. But actually, that's an unfair question. When did you reach self-actualization?
I ain't there yet.
That is such an honest answer.
Very honest.
That is such an honest answer.
Each day pushing
brother.
further for better. And our journeys have been long.
Yes.
And as you correctly said, there have been ups and downs.
Yes.
And as you go up, sometimes you try doing better so that you can cover for the downsides. So yeah, I've also, like everyone else, had my ups and downs. There are things I've struggled with in life that set me back.
Yes.
And there are many battles that I've overcome, either from a professional perspective or from a self-growth perspective, from a family perspective. So I say, I think each day brings its own challenges, but of course what I've gone through, what I've learned over time have been the best, elements that have made me absolutely prepared for this future. So talk about my pinnacle, I don't see things that way.
I like that.
Each time doing better, Kaizen.
I like that. The one thing that one would find ironic is that the discipline that comes from indiscipline. You tell a story when you talk about even there's the professional journey and there's the personal journey. And, when you and I were sitting down and we talk about, the day when you just decided, I'm done. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And, you're literally sitting in your house. Yeah. And it's a decision that you made to yourself. And that was it. How much has discipline been a steadfast in your life? The discipline that you got from indiscipline.
Could I say yes? Well put. So I would give an example, if you may.
Please, brother.
At the height of my career at Kenya Breweries, and soon after I moved to Celtel, which transformed into Zain.
Yes.
I started struggling with, if you may, alcoholism.
Yes.
And this went on for some time. May I
Right.
tell you, if you got some quid in the bank and you got a good job,
Right.
you become really what you call a functional alcoholic.
Right.
People really don't know because you wake up, probably you drive that car,
Bus.
it's air conditioned,
Bus.
and then you end up in the office not as puffy.
Yes.
And maybe you slept the 6 hours,
yes.
but yes, you chopped in a bit
Bus.
of the stuff for
Yes.
a bit too long. So I struggled with alcoholism for some time.
Right.
But when it started affecting my relationships, both familial and external and professional, I think it reached a stage where I had to really sit with myself. I called myself
For a meeting.
And I
Right.
was seated with this friend of mine who in body saw I was with him, but I was actually in this conference meeting with myself.
I like the story, yes.
It was about 9 p.m. at night, and then, We'd been drinking the whole day. Next day, nowhere to go, no work, because I was jobless by then. I just worked myself out of my last job.
Yes.
And I looked at my friend. He was like enjoying himself. So I told him, hey, Chief, starting tomorrow, this whole story is...
It's a wrap. I'm done.
It's done.
Yes.
So, yeah, I woke up the next morning. I left him there.
Yes.
He went
in your living room?
In my living room, actually.
Yes.
And the next morning when I woke up, he was still at it.
Yes.
Of course he had slept at some stage.
Yes.
But he had replenished the supplies.
Yeah.
So, a very difficult moment. Yes. Do I start it now or do I tell this guy, just get out of my house? Long story short, the decision was made.
There and then.
And I had made my decision and I've never looked back. That was the last time I tasted alcohol, and that's over 11 years ago.
I like that, because I remember when we were discussing that story. So and everyone's journey is different. Mm-hmm. And clearly, like we said, this is not a pulpit. Do interventions work?
Interventions of what? Religious, spiritual?
No, sorry. You see, like now, interventions when it comes to in your opinion, drug and alcohol abuse. Mm-hmm. Do they work?
You meaning people coming to talk to you, coaching you, mentoring you?
Yes. No. You see, that clearly happens once you're maybe in a center. Mm. I'm talking about people coming to tell you. You see, like that decision that you made the previous night, then you went to sleep. Mm. You made the decision.
I made that decision.
If they came and sat you down in the house and told you, Jakababa, we think you should do 1, 2, 3, do you think it would have worked?
Actually, I sent most of those people out.
Thank you.
I'm very forthright, and I just told them, this is not that space. Is there something I've ever come to ask you for? And so the rest, you can imagine all that story, how that story would end. Yes. So interventions somehow go to your subconscious. Probably then that awakens you at some stage. But when people are telling you, so long as you don't believe that this thing isn't working, the decision, I always say this thing, it starts with you. Look at my WhatsApp status, you'll find it starts with you.
Yes.
Facebook, it starts with you. Profile pic, it starts with you. Everything starts with you. You need to make that decision. You need to make that decision not to keep on suffering in a job which is toxic. It will kill you slowly. Thank me later. You need to make a decision when you are into these other habits and the addictions of many types. Please believe me. So it's an individual. It's an internal decision. And there are people who would help support that, quite definitely. I've got a sister and a brother who supported me through this. But at the point of making that decision, it was me alone with the vice that was facing me.
Collins, so people like you and I.
Yes.
And when we talk about our stories and these journeys, I, for example, I'm like, wow, it was a ride. But, you can't dwell on the regrets. Because life's a journey. So, the rear view mirror is the rear view mirror for a reason. And the windscreen is that size also for a reason. In retrospect, when one looks at that journey, what advice do you now give people when it comes to those moments when you are literally, you see yourself, because there are people who are listening to you right now, and life is hard, Jatel. And they are that fork in the road.
Absolutely.
Do you toss a coin? What should one do? And of course, you're not God, neither you, Jesus. But I need your advice. They're listening. We're at the fork, man. you decide on that day, you know what, if I keep on going straight, either health, journey physically, or mentally, or financially, I'm doomed. Emotionally, I'm doomed to I'm doomed to disaster. Somebody who's now facing that story right now, what are you telling them, dude?
Call that meeting with yourself. Once you call that meeting with yourself, make the decision. The best way normally to overcome such is also to announce your decision.
So you have a support
people,
system.
Yes, so that immediately you've got a support system and that you have people that will adopt you in your new life. Let's not forget the other life is also, I won't say, one thing, most people talk in retrospect and say what the hell was so bad and that and that. Well, there were a few bad things, but I did great and even greater things even during that period. If you look at that CV, there were things I was doing.
Yes.
We launched Senator.
Yes.
We launched. I did launch Senator.
Yes.
Keg.
Yes.
Huge success, great contribution to KBL up till today.
Yes.
I made that route to market.
No, I saw even you, because even in terms for the region.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the Lake Basin.
Absolutely.
There's that, it is a photo that is famous.
Yeah.
With the boss at that time.
Absolutely.
I'm talking about number 4.
Get it?
Yes, Kijata having a
yes, and we sent also a whole case to Obama in the US.
Oh, wow.
With my signature. Senator, when they started bottling it.
Yes.
Now, talking about that, I created jobs through KBL, of course, and through this program.
Yes.
I shifted it from the traditional distribution channels of bars and distributors to creating young dealers and a special route to market. If you remember, we used to have chokoras even in city center around Ronald Ngala, around that place.
Sharp.
Luthuli Avenue. Tom. We cleaned that place. The mass market got a better, more potent alternative drink. Now, look at that. All these things were happening when I was doing my internal my internal struggle.
Indeed.
So there were many good things that we did, but there were some bad things that I did too.
Right.
So coming back, you have to appreciate that it's a journey, it's part of life. And now, when if I need to advise somebody, so get that support system working, first have that meeting with yourself, inform publicly people that you need to, and if you like, paint it, put it in Facebook out there, or Instagram, depending on which social media, just say, I've declared from today on, this is this. Now, that creates, that support group, but also those people who try bringing you back to order in case they see something that might just help you and believe in yourself and your choice. It'll just fall into place. Actually, my advice to people, there are only 5 hard days from that decision. For smoke, it's 3 days. For alcohol, about 5 days.
Day 1 to 5.
Day 1 to 5.
Now you say it's 3 days.
3 days. After the third day, you should normally.
That one I've tried, my friend.
I've succeeded too.
Congo, I've succeeded.
Excellent.
But cigara, aye, chief.
Well, my cigar story was different.
Hey.
I actually was admitted at Nairobi Hospital
at one
time for something absolutely not connected to cigar.
Right.
And that was about 2 years ago.
Right.
Just as soon after I joined BAN.
Right.
So I went for that. I went for hospitalization, and then I was inpatient.
Wow.
I was inpatient for about 8 days.
Yeah.
And again, I called myself to that meeting.
Right.
Can you imagine the jacket which was in the wardrobe in my hospital room?
There was cigarette.
There were 2 packets, a Benson and I think MC.
Yes.
And I had that room, so temptation to smoke at the window. And
I used to do that when I was in hospital. Yeah.
Get it?
Yeah.
So I once again called myself. The first 3 days were very tough in that I was very sick. So even thinking of the smoke
Indeed,
wasn't.
of course. Yes.
Okay, but now when I started feeling better and starting to have that urge, I called myself to that meeting again. And I said, you You've been in this hospital for 3-4 days.
Yes.
You have not smoked. Why would you leave this hospital smoking? And what are those packets of cigarettes doing in your jacket? So I'm not wishing that anyone has to be hospitalized first to walk out of it. It simply illustrates that you can call yourself to that meeting and make that important decision.
You said, Kolo, you've got to come back. But before you go.
Yes, sir.
What?
Interesting.
I love yeah. Listen, brother. So you're still somebody who's at the sharp end of the game, man. But in this day and age and in this economy, boss, in fact, I know there'll be some people who are asking, hey, this guy had 86 Gs then. Hata saizi hata hiyo nikipata sitaiwacha. Unaelewa? Because times are hard. How do you motivate people to keep positive? That's number one. And then number two, because of the uncertainty with the state of our union, I don't know if it's a global thing in terms of, we say where there's no recession here, but, well, businesses are closing down. Is it, your hobbies are dairy farming, and, but that's also business.
It is.
Is a hustle important? I need, I want to know that from senior corporates. Because, where do you find the time? Number one. But now you're talking, not obviously being a senior corporate, that's obviously the sharp end of the pencil. So not everyone is one. But in terms of us people, we're called the ground troops. Is that critical?
Yeah, so this set of words I use, 2 words: ruthless focus.
Come on.
So wherever you sit, at whatever level that you are at in life, please focus ruthlessly at what you want to achieve. First of all, paint that picture. What do you want to be? What do you want to be? Once that's clear, define your path to where you'd like to be, and define who you need to surround you and what habits you need to drop. That helps. And let's not forget, if you do one good thing towards that goal, one good thing a day, in 365 days, you'd have done 365 different additional value add stuff on your way to that goal.
Nice one.
Some of us are capable of doing 3 good things in one day.
Sharp.
Towards that particular vision. Some of us can do it half of that what he defined he wants to achieve per day.
Sharp.
And keep on chipping off that rock each day towards what you want to achieve.
Sharp.
Distractions will come, but that ruthless focus will help you.
I like that.
On the second aspect, I personally feel it's times are hard for everyone. If you had a figure X and the tax exposure goes up from 30 to 35%, and there's a levy or a tax that comes to chop off that, end of day you are earning X, you'd earn X minus some amount. So terms are hard for everyone.
Yes.
But it's harder definitely for others.
Right.
Now, what's my advice to people? For those who are salaried, salary is good. You look forward to something end of each month. But imagine that you might just wake up to a new regime in the US and there are decisions which are made which are beyond you. You said is no more, and you got no job. I'm not talking about the 90-day, window. We hope things are going to happen.
Bas.
So tomorrow you might just not have a job.
Bas.
So start creating now and tomorrow. For some of us who don't have it, just start doing it tomorrow.
Bas.
A side hustle. It could be packaging njugu, groundnuts, and that you supply 3 kiosks.
So sorry to interrupt you, because now you're preaching. Now, that to side hustle, brother. Is it something that you're passionate about, something that you love, or just something that, you know what, yuko kila mtu anafungua duka ya kuuza tokens. Hiyo ndio nitafanya kwa sababu niko na pesa X.
Excellent.
Ama is it something that, you know what, it's a side hustle, but I wake up in the morning? Because yours clearly, I can tell because I know the kind of person that you are. This is something that you love to do.
I love dairy farming. So the first thing you got to realize is that if you ever get to identify your passion, it could be football, it could be art, it could be whatever it is, hairdressing, cosmetics, it could be anything. Identify what you do effortlessly. That would be your passion. You do it effortlessly without having to put a lot of effort. Start doing that. It could be a lady and you just like dreading hair or making hair. Start doing it on your neighbor and definitely they'll give you some 200 bob. And she'll talk to the next person, who talk to the next and the 10th person, and then 200 shillings becomes 2,000. So when you're doing something you're so passionate about, you don't feel like you're working. Like what I'm thinking of Ed Kwach. The guy has been in radio, he's been in media, and looking at you even in studio, I feel you're just in your element. I mean, there's no stress.
No.
Now, identify something like that, either as the mainstay or as a hobby. Number 2, spread your portfolio. Everybody's talking about MMF right now. Safaricom just gave us this possibility of saving 20, 30, save even that 20 shillings daily in that MMF. Thank me after 5 years.
Right.
Look at that net number at the bottom.
Right.
So if you had that hairdress, you've got this MMF. You could go to Zimele or the other site on, but the Safaricom just at your handset. Go for that. Then there's this craze called Forex that the young people are now doing. Do you have the talent or don't you have it? Would you like to do it? Wouldn't you like to do it? There's crypto. And then there are things like writing. Some of us can write, some of us cannot write. Some of us can write music and even give it to Bien. Why wouldn't you do that?
Right.
And then create something good. And if he goes, if he makes that music, you'd earn something. So look around. Look at first what you do effortlessly that you can monetize. 2, there are standard portfolios. And there are people. I'm not an expert. I'm not a wealth expert. Get to know what these wealth experts are saying and what they are advising people, and corroborate what they are saying, telling you with some people who seemingly have made something out of their lives. They will most likely just encourage you because they know you are on the right path.
I like that.
So if you put all your eggs in one basket, you only have to blame yourself if you find that the basket doesn't have eggs and has got some yolk.
Brother, I know you are, especially on the African stage, you're a bit busy. You've said what it is you guys are doing, and we have been looking for you for a few weeks, and thank you. You made the time today. We're not done. Got to do a part 2, boss.
My pleasure. This is my passion too.
We are going to do a part 2. You spoke about writing. Collins, one day you will, we've got to, because you're also somebody who gives back to society. So you seem like someone who's very big when it comes to CSR. But speaking of giving back, you've got to give us back also your life's journey. So we're getting to that age. So in about 20 years or so, we're going to put pen to paper and you're going to publish. And then this book is going to come to a bookshop near you. Have you thought of this? Very good. What is the title?
Who the Man Was.
I love this nigga.
Who the Man Was. Because at one time I sat with a publisher.
Yeah.
Then he asked me, who are you? Collins, who are you? Struggled, and he told me, this is the definition of who you are.
Come on.
And I'm into this publishing business.
Yeah.
I'm not into selling like 100 copies. I would
right.
like to do 100,000 million plus.
Come on.
When you look back, define who you are now,
Right.
and do you have a story to tell? All of us have a story to tell.
Right.
But is it compelling? That's when I came with the title, Who the Man Was. So I position myself into the future, then I look back. So you have to also to wait for a moment for you to be able to release this book.
Yes.
Don't think that I've not been working on it. I have been working on it. Yeah.
Twist.
You put 20 years, I was wondering, that would be probably the third version, and we are not all lucky like Baba to see those ages, you know.
Oh man, what a story.
Yeah,
Global
so Who the Man Was, that's the title. I don't know whether it will be read posthumously or Who the Man Was, because there might be certain details that might also disturb us, a few people.
Indeed.
Because I like challenging the status quo.
I like that.
Yeah.
Listen, bruv, before we do the outro, there's a Kenny Rogers lady, Cool and the Gang celebration, Shalimar friends, and don't forget Millie Jackson.
Yeah.
If loving you is wrong, I don't want to be right. Now, as Collins, we have found equilibrium. I like the way he was honest, not self-actualization. We're still working on that, but there's balance now in life.
Absolutely.
What are we listening to, Baba? Because you now, you literally live at the airport, not as an aeronautical engineer, now as a passenger, frequent flyer miles, going from Yani basically in the lounge,
Right.
or in the terminal, so to speak.
Correct, sir.
What are you listening to on your 2 pods, brother? Of those 4 songs, and why?
And for this particular time, I'd like to dedicate it to Sally, Lady.
I was waiting for that one.
That's it.
And I had a lunch with them, and it's so refreshing to see people who love each other but are still in love, even at this our ripe age. Notice I didn't use the word old.
Who grows old in this world? Come on.
Go on, brother. Sorry. To Sally.
Yeah.
Which song?
Lady by Kenny Rogers.
Oh my God. And the message is obviously to Sally.
Yeah.
Lady by Kenny Rogers. There's another sentence I'm waiting you to say there.
And dedicating to you this song because what we've seen is only the tip of the iceberg. Age is but a number, and we are only halfway through, so the journey is still long, counting on to your support.
He is now currently the Global Commercial Director at Burn Manufacturing, LLC. A man whose journey, man, you can't wait to read. I definitely can't wait to read. Who the Man Was.
Who the Man Was.
My brother, my friend Collins Oneko, thank you so much.
Thinking
for
of it,
through.
I should copyright that title.
Oh yeah. You shouldn't have mentioned that because that means tomorrow morning you've got to be quick.
Absolutely.
Thanks for coming, bro.
Every step forward, every bold shot, every moment of mastery. It's all part of the journey. From February 20th to the 23rd, the magical Kenya Open returns to Mathaga Golf Club, where champions take their shot at greatness. Johnny Walker raises a glass to those who walk the course with confidence, precision, and purpose. Because success isn't about standing still. It's about stepping up, taking your shot, and walking forward. Be part of the action. Get your tickets now and experience golf at its finest. Johnny Walker. Keep walking. Excessive consumption of alcohol